Hi there and welcome to this very special educational resource for audiences of all ages. A virtual backstage tour of Disney's award-winning musical, The Lion King. I'm Matt Baker and I do hope that you'll join me for this truly remarkable journey beyond the Pride Lands and behind the scenes of a theatrical production that has dazzled millions of people around the world. Through the 10 episodes of this series, you'll experience what it takes to produce and perform what has been called a landmark event in entertainment. Each episode focuses on a unique aspect of The Lion King, covering everything from the award-winning costumes and choreography, music and rhythmic percussion, how the movie was adapted for the stage, the unique masks and puppets, set and lighting, the important role that child actors play in the production. We follow one of the lead actors as they prepare and perform, as well as exploring the themes and characters in this beloved show. You can view these episodes in any order, either before your visit to the theatre, afterwards, or both. Combined with seeing the show itself, these videos will enrich the theatre-going experience for students interested in learning more about the people, skills and artistry required to make a show as spectacular as The Lion King happen 8 times a week. Whether you're watching this special feature with family, students or on your own, be sure to check out the complimentary Lion King study guide, which is filled with additional background information and interactive exercises to further enhance your experience. You can download the free study guide online at www.disneyonbroadway.com. Okay then, let's get on with the show. We hope that you enjoy your journey behind the scenes of The Lion King. Disney's award-winning musical The Lion King is a theatre production unlike anything you've ever seen before. Everybody knows the animated feature film, but when it made the leap from screen to stage, the creative team faced the enormous challenge of putting the African savannah on stage. To do this, they called upon a vast array of styles and techniques, from traditional African masks to the latest in digital technology. Millions of people have already seen The Lion King in over a dozen countries across the globe, in cities such as New York, London, Hamburg, Johannesburg, Shanghai, Tokyo, Paris and Sydney. And it's been translated into many different languages, including German, Japanese, French, Korean and Dutch. Now, for the first time ever, you'll be able to go backstage at the Lyceum Theatre in London's West End and the Minskoff Theatre on Broadway. We'll explore this global phenomenon looking at 10 different aspects of the show, giving you the chance to see what goes into making and running one of the biggest and most spectacular stage productions in the world, The Lion King. So, to begin, have you ever wondered how The Lion King became a musical? Well, we caught up with some of the key players in the show's creation to find out what it took to make the lion sing.
Think about an animated movie. This one is about 74 minutes long. That's less than the first act of the stage show. Remember the scene where Mufasa is walking and little Simba's walking and his little tiny foot goes in the big footprint of his father. That one image of the little foot in the big footprint tells us everything about father, son, a young boy hoping to one day fill his father's shoes. Well, how would you do that on stage? Adapting it to the stage meant expanding the story. There were lots of challenges in putting The Lion King together, but certainly the biggest one was for the audience to accept that the people they're seeing on stage are representing animals. There's a rule in Hollywood that all you need is one really great idea. And I had one really great idea, and that was Julie Taymor.
The fun part for me was, how do you do a stampede on stage? How do you create the image of the savannah? Because the animated film could do it all. They could create those vast landscapes and the cave of Scar. I love doing that in the theater, finding highly theatrical means to create a naturalistic landscape. I don't need all that fur. I don't need literal paws. Maybe just a tail. You know, just the mask and a tail, and then let the actor suggest it, like the movement of the shoulders moving forward. You get the strength. He doesn't have to be on all fours doing that.
Think about Simba. We use shadow puppets, rod puppets, hand puppets, and 2 human actors to play one character in the show.
The story, the animal kingdom, the music, all the inspiration for the masks and puppets comes from Africa, and musically South Africa.
In the movie, of course, it's beautiful to look at, it's exquisitely animated, and the designs are gorgeous. But what you also have is those fantastic songs by Elton John and Tim Rice, and that beautiful underscore by Hans Zimmer, and the fantastic song choral African material that Lebo M and Mark Mancina shaped. On the stage, we expand all that music. We add more of it.
With the visual concept behind the stage show in place, and the music developed and expanded to work in the theatre, what other ingredients were needed to complete the Lion King's journey from screen to stage?
In the theater, you can use lots of different techniques to represent something, but the most important technique you need is the imagination of your audience.
Children and adults alike suspend their disbelief, knowing that it is theater, that we're not really in a savannah, that we're not really in a jungle, and they go with you. And their eyes focus after a while on just the character.
When they look at what's behind me right now, and they don't see a circular staircase, but they see a rock. When they see people with grass growing out of their head and say, it's the savannah. When they see a man with a fantastic mask over his head, and they say, oh, he's a lion. Then the audience is on the journey with the theater maker, and that's the best kind of theater.
Of course, we all know the story of the Lion King. Simba's epic journey from losing his father to finally finding the strength to take his rightful place as king. But what is the story actually about? What are the themes behind the action we see on stage? Well, that's exactly what we asked some of the people behind the show.
At the very base of The Lion King is a fundamental story about responsibility. When we made the movie and when we made the stage show, we talked about this a great deal. The whole thing is actually about Simba facing his responsibilities.
The story is a classic prodigal son story. The young prince has to go out on a journey into darkness and find himself before he's allowed to come home and take on the mantle of kingship.
He believes the wrong people. He follows the wrong advice of his evil Uncle Scar. It's only when he reflects on all of this later as a young man that he realizes how to put things right.
The most important theme is about truly believing in who you are and what you can be.
The story is familiar, but how it's told is very original.
With the ideas behind the story in place, what techniques did the show's creators use to help illustrate those themes on stage?
The Circle of Life is the main overarching thematic element in the show. We see it at the very top of the show when the sun rises. It's a perfect circle. Pride Rock comes up out of the ground. It's also a circular shape that then rises. So the circle as a scenic element in our show represents everything being right and balanced in the world.
The Circle of Life is in the designs all through the show. At the beginning of Act 2, there's a circular water hole, all done with silk. Mufasa's mask, it's a circle. When we push the gazelles across the stage on this contraption, you see wheels turning, circles. The circle is the sun. Right there, the Circle of Life is represented by a gigantic circle on stage. Throughout The Lion King, which is about the Circle of Life, we see circles everywhere in the show.
With the show being a global phenomenon, playing to rapt audiences all around the world, what is it that makes The Lion King such a success?
I think it comes down to this fundamental story of it. Who am I? How do I fit into my community? What will become of me? Well, what will become of you is that you will be part of the Circle of Life.
That's what the world is. It's eclectic, and that's what The Lion King is a representation of. It's all of these different fractions of the savannah coming together to pay their respects to the future king. And that's what's great about any society. We might not all get along, but when things are really important, we all are bound together by any sense of community.
It's a tale that every culture, everybody understands.
I hope it also resonates with them the thematic that we are all joined in this, if you will, circle of life that we sing about in the show. That each of us are interconnected and relate to each other. That's hugely important to me, that you realize that not only do you share this experience with an audience in a live theater setting, but we all share this planet together, and The Lion King has a lot to say about that.